Hi guys, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach with another live feed, and we are ending eating disorders using nothing but your own brain. And welcome. It's so fun to see you guys here in this amazing community we have. Thank you for, when we do the live feeds, just all of your support and your comments and your questions and just really beautiful stuff. So as we do our live feed today, go ahead and, post, questions that you have or other things you'd like to see in live feeds or questions about this topic. And really excited to jump into our topic today. First, I wanted to share, so one thing that we do every once in a while is we just follow up with grads of the program, just like people who, have been graduated for a year, 2 years, to just see like what they're celebrating now, like, because the skill that we learn, with the people that we coach, the skill keeps on getting better, right? Because we're rewiring our brain. We're ending our eating disorders using nothing but our brain. So when you make new brain connections, those continue to get stronger and stronger. And when you know how to make connections that give you more and more freedom, then life gets better and better because you're more and more free and you get to start using this for other areas of life. But there was just a really cool insight with one of our grads that I wanted to share. So she had bulimia for longer than some of you have been alive. So, 25 years or so, she just had, just bulimia, binging, purging, something that was happening pretty much every day. And it was wrecking her life, as bulimia does. And it just takes more and more. It takes your health, it takes your relationships, it takes your confidence, all of that. So we started working with her, and in about 6 weeks or so, she was completely out of the cycle. She was completely done. She knew exactly how to not binge, how to not purge, and that compulsion wasn't there. Like, the skill was there to not be able to do it. Now, here's something really interesting. There was still something she was getting in it. Like, it was enjoyable in some way, although she knew like it didn't really serve her. But I want you guys to know that when you have the skill to not do this anymore, it doesn't mean you have to do anything. Knowing how to do something doesn't take away your choice. So for her, for a little while after she graduated from our program, she would still binge and purge, like, maybe once a week, maybe, once every couple of weeks, because she just wasn't ready to give it up all the way. And then after she got a little more comfortable with that and life just without binging and purging, then she's like, oh, this doesn't serve me. And then she just gave it up all the way because she knew exactly how. That's like a big piece of it, is she had the skill to know how to do that. And now she's just done. So I just wanted you guys to know just a perspective on that journey. I know that you're here and you're getting pieces, and you're here in the community, and it's a really beautiful thing. And I love to see you guys here and know that like your journey, whatever that is for you, is important, right? It's like you can know how to be done and still choose not to be done. Or you can really want to be done and not know how to be done. And so you just fill in the missing pieces, but it all comes down to you doing what you want to do. So hi guys, welcome. Again, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach. And really today I'm going to share some really bad news, some of the worst that, I had ever gotten, but in important bad news. And so we'll go into that a little bit, and let me know if you guys, have any questions about it as well. Go ahead and post, and love seeing all of your little hearts and smileys and all that. So let's launch into it. So here's how the issue usually shows up. So with binging, and just to be clear, like, because I get this question a lot, like, well, what about, overeating and that sort of thing. So yes, binge eating, overeating, bulimia, and bulimia doesn't always look like purging. Sometimes we just try to make up for our, binge in some other way. And so maybe that's starvation or exercise or whatever it is. So it's a cycle, right? If you have a relationship with food that is distracting you from your life, that is keeping you from, living the life that you want to live, that if you had this relationship with food for the rest of your life, you wouldn't be happy about that, then you're in the right place. Like, these are the principles to end that. So whether it's overeating or whether it's severe bulimia, what we find and what we know is that the same principles get us out of those cycles. So, whatever that thing is for you, wherever you're here, whether you're thinking of you or someone else, when I say binging, like, fill in the blank, right? For like what that distorted relationship with food is for you. Hi guys, so fun to see you on. Hello, hello. All right, so the problem is that you are trying to lose weight, but you keep binging. And so you can't make any progress because no matter what happens during the day with your perfect plan and your meal and your clean eating or whatever you're trying to do, it completely gets canceled out. Like, it's over as soon as you binge. So any sort of effort that you put into this, any sort of planning, any sort of promise, any sort of like willpower just gets canceled out as soon as you binge. So in fact, when you get into this cycle, you end up gaining weight instead of losing weight. So you go into it with the I'm going to lose weight energy, and you get the exact opposite of what you want. You are gaining weight. And so you get more dedicated, right? You're like, wait, that's not what I want. That's the opposite of what I want. And so we get even more dedicated. And you know, you've heard that dieting isn't a long-term answer, but you have to make it a short-term answer because you just can't accept what has happened to your weight. And then you start freaking out because you don't know what's going on. You used to be able to have a second serving of dinner or dessert sometimes, and it didn't really make a difference. Like, oh yeah, well, I'm eating better overall, so I can have dessert every once in a while. And now when you have dessert, then you wake up 2 pounds heavier every time you allow yourself to have anything. So as your dedication goes up and up, it gets harder and harder to have results. And we don't know what's happening, and it gets really, really frustrating. So a year's gone by, and there's some sort of milestone. And let's say it's your birthday, right? And you remember, because, oh wait, we're a year later on this date, you remember that last birthday, you told yourself that this would be the year that you would lose the weight, that now you were really ready and you were really dedicated and you really had that way of eating and you really had that diet and you really had that willpower and you really had that plan and you really had that time and you really had everything together so that, yeah, you're going to finally do this because it's so important to you to lose this weight. And you realize that this birthday, you're actually heavier than you were last birthday. So a whole year has gone by that you've been on this roller coaster of, I'm going to lose the weight. Oh, wow, I binged. Oh, now I'm actually heavier, getting more dedicated, and it goes round and round. And you've been trying. You have been trying all year. And now you're here another year older, and you not only have not lost the weight, but you've gained it, you're 10 pounds heavier. And then you look back and realize that the same thing happened this time last year. And how many birthdays has it been where you said, I'm going to lose the weight this year? And at this rate, you're going to be 50 pounds heavier by the time you turn 40. And you know that all these things push up your set point weight because you're really educated about this stuff. Like, you know, you read books about this and you read blog posts and you watch videos about this. So you know how set point weight works. And you know that, you know, the dieting pushes up your set point and the restriction. And then the weight gain as well. When you're getting to these new highs in your weight, that pushes up your set point too. And it just feels like the harder you try, the worse it is. And it's an incredibly frustrating place. And so I want to share with you guys some really bad news. It was some of the worst news that I ever got in my life. And it made me cry, and it made me panic, and it made me angry. And here is the bad news, you guys, is that it's never going to work. I'm going to say that again. It's never going to work. That cycle that you're in, the try a little harder, the one last diet. And I know that this is really hard news because when I was in the cycle, oh, I knew that it didn't work for other people, right? But I was different. Like, I was committed. I knew all the science behind how the body burns fat and exactly what I needed to do. And I was the one who was dedicated, and I was the one who would do it step by step, and I would track everything. And, you know, there's no way that it couldn't happen for me because I was different. I was the one who was going to make it work for me, at least just so I could lose the weight, and then I'll go back to normal eating. That was this lie that I was in for so, so long. So if you try to lose weight before you fix your relationship with food, before you end your eating disorder, it will just keep getting worse. But one day I had to get real with myself and realize that it doesn't work for me. Not that it doesn't work in general, not that, oh yeah, 85, 95% of people, just gain their weight back plus some, but like, I'm gonna be the 5%, I'm gonna be the 10%, like, I know what to do, like, I have something special, I really found my thing now. I had to admit that it didn't and wouldn't work for me. Because if it could, it would have worked after years and years of trying. And it never did. And I was very dedicated. So I made a choice to cut my losses and just stop making it worse. Just stop making it worse by being in the diet cycle. And I made a decision to not diet anymore. And I sat on my couch and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I felt like I was just gaining 50 pounds, just sitting there. I wasn't even eating anything. I just felt my body exploding because psychologically I was so stressed out about this. But intellectually I knew, and I had to admit to myself that this wasn't working anymore. And that's a huge piece. That's when I was really able to start fixing my eating. And one step of what works is just admitting to yourself what doesn't. That's a huge piece of it, because it keeps us from looking over here to all the things that don't work. And even if you don't know where else to look, at least you're not looking at the place and the information of what doesn't work. And you can keep on doing this. I mean, you can be in this cycle. I mean, there are people who will gain 100 pounds while they're trying to lose it. And let's just be really clear, because this comes up as well. So just a side note here, you guys. Now, you can be healthy at any weight. Especially, I mean, there are many of us who have already pushed up our set point weight, so we're not going to be the weight that we used to be, right? Like, we've dieted for long enough, and we've gained enough weight that our set point weight is just at a different place. And so you can be healthy no matter what size you're at. But what is the really death sentence? Like, what is really unhealthy, the thing that your body cannot last in, is this cycle where you are continually, having this relationship with food where you're binging or you're purging or you're dieting, all of that. Like, that's a thing that your body can't survive. So when the rapid weight gain starts, then that's the unhealthy thing. It's not necessarily the weight, because like, you can be healthy at any weight, but it's why is the weight coming on? Oh, well, if it's because of binging, if it's because you're breaking metabolism, like, that is the signal, that's the sign that that is happening. And that's a space that you can't survive. And so with that, the good news is that as soon as you just admit to yourself what doesn't work, then you can start finding what actually works. And we have had so many women who have come to us, and of course, like, it would be great to do it before this point, right? But we have a lot of women who come to us and just say, okay, not only do I know that dieting doesn't work, is that it will not work for me. So this is how it usually shows up, is, I get all dedicated, and then after about 2 or 3 days, I just fall off the wagon, and then I start eating worse than I ever have before. Or if I, do anything outside of the norm, like, if I, eat dessert, or if I know that I was to the point where I could literally just eat one piece of fruit and my body would start putting it on as weight. Because you're literally teaching your body to panic and store everything as extra weight when you're in this diet, restrict, binge cycle. And so with that, a lot of women come our way because they have to do something else, because they've literally broken their metabolisms. Like, diets are not working anymore. Like, they have either eliminated that solution from their life because it doesn't work, or they've admitted to themselves, like, oh, okay, that doesn't work. That doesn't mean that you have to know what to do. It doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out. Like, that's why we help people with that, right? And if there's like this fear of, but what am I going to do? What if I have to lose the weight? What if I have to do something for my health? Like, I don't know what to do outside of dieting. That's fine. You just have to have that willingness to be coachable and to learn. Most of the people that we help, they come to us without knowing what to do, and with really being confused about like how they could ever do anything besides dieting, because they have to, right? And it's just about knowing another perspective and how you can see it another way. And in fact, we are here to help you guys with this. If you didn't know about this, please know that Every once in a while, we have free sessions that open up, and I think there are a couple more this week if you guys want to snag them. You can go to lydialifestyle.com/apply, and there's a free session that you can sign up for with our team. And we're going to call you at that time, and you show up for yourself, and this will be the best hour or so that you've ever spent on being able to get on the right track, being able to take all this noise and all this confusion, all this worry, and just focus it into what's actually going to help. So we're going to get really clear on the reason why you keep binging, what's not working there. We're going to get really clear on any sort of missing pieces to get you to your freedom. And we're going to get really clear on what that normal eating, what that food freedom is for you in your life. So with those three things, that's the foundation of freedom, is getting that clarity first. And we're going to help you with that step-by-step plan. So you can go to lydialifestyle.com/apply. And so fun seeing you guys. And this is Lydia, the Lifestyle Coach, signing off. Mwah. Bye, guys.